I was at my local swimming pool, with friends. We were in the water, splashing around, when I got into difficulty, and found myself under the water, swallowing water fast. I grabbed a girl next to me by her bikini bottom. She kicked me away to the bottom of the pool. All of a sudden, my life flashed before my eyes, happy times mainly, Christmas time, birthdays and such. Then I found myself in what appeared to be a tunnel, with a small, white, bright light at the other end. I knew with a certainty I had never known before that I was dead, and I couldn't understand how I could still be thinking. I thought there must have been some kind of mistake. Only my thoughts remained. I had no sense of a physical body anymore. I was moving fairly fast towards the light. A feeling of peace and what felt like unconditional love enveloped me. It felt incredible. As I was moving forward, I sensed the presence of two people. These people knew me, but I did not know them. I had never met them before. They were communicating with me through just our thoughts, them to me to them. They were telling me that it was not my time and that I had to go back. They conveyed other things to me that I can't remember, though I don't think I'm supposed to remember those yet. Then just as quickly as I'd arrived, I was heading back down the tunnel and was back into my physical body, coughing and spluttering water, as the lifeguard was giving me the kiss of life. I was only conscious for seconds. Then, I lost consciousness and didn't wake up fully again until 3 weeks later, after spending those 3 weeks in an oxygen tent at hospital. I had minor ENT surgery to create 2 holes in my sinuses due to a long-term problem. The operation was satisfactory and I returned home after a one-night stay in hospital. That night I slept satisfactorily, but awoke the following morning with a terrible headache. The pain throughout the day became unbearable, and my left eye and cheek became very swollen and black through internal bleeding. I was readmitted into the hospital, where I had a brain scan to determine whether the ENT surgeon had accidentally pierced the brain lining. The scan was negative, however, as I showed all the symptoms of meningitis, intense neck pain, headache and photophobia. I was treated with intravenous antibiotics and painkillers. 3 days later, I hadn't really improved much at all. As I stood to get into a wheelchair to see an ophthalmic doctor about my eye, after walking a short way, I started to feel very ill indeed. Sweat started to pour from my head and forehead as if water taps had been turned on, and I felt very sick. The nurses tried to put me back into bed when I passed out. The next thing I remember is brightness, very similar to somebody sitting in the clouds, and there was my old friend Stuart. He had died some 24 years ago, at the age of 21, from cancer. He looked his old self, the healthy version of him that was quite chubby, not the gaunt skinny person he had become during his illness. His hair had grayed around the temples exactly how he probably would have looked now if he had lived. I said to him, "You've gone gray." He held out his hand and said to me, "Come on, Linz, take my hand." I looked at him and said, "I can't, you're dead." It was very peaceful and I didn't feel fearful at all. He held out his hand again and said, "Come on." I looked at him and said, "No, I can't, you're dead." The next thing I remember is being sick and being attached to various medical machines.